There's a file in Area 51. Forget everything you thought you knew about it. It's not about crashed UFOs, or captured extraterrestrials, or advanced alien technology. Those are just smoke and mirrors. The real secret, the most terrifying truth, is that it's about you. It doesn't matter who you are, where you live, or what you believe. If you've ever had certain dreams that felt too real, too vivid, too prophetic to be dismissed as mere subconscious noise, if you've experienced déjà vu that sent inexplicable shivers down your spine, a momentary glitch in the fabric of reality, if you've seen something in the sky, a fleeting shadow, a silent light that no one else seemed to notice or chose to ignore, then you might be in that file. And I'm going to explain how I, an ordinary archivist, stumbled upon this chilling truth, and why they are monitoring ordinary people like us, not for what we do, but for what we are. I worked deep within the archives of Area 51, a labyrinthine complex buried miles beneath the Nevada desert, a place few ever saw and even fewer understood. My job was mundane yet critical: to categorize, to cross-reference, to ensure the endless stream of classified data made sense, or at least appeared to. Most of it was classified, yes, but ultimately dull. Reports on weather balloons, experimental aircraft, psychological profiles of disgruntled employees. Until one night, a system glitch, a momentary lapse in the impenetrable digital security that guarded their deepest secrets. A single, anomalous entry flashed across my screen. It wasn't assigned to any known project. No codename, no typical military identifier, just a string of numbers and symbols that felt wrong. This wasn't a standard military record. This was something else entirely, and it led me down a rabbit hole so dark, so profound, that I wish I'd never found it. This wasn't a file on a person with a name, a social security number, a birth certificate, a history of actions. No, this was far more insidious. It was a pattern, a series of seemingly unrelated events, observations, and psychological markers collected from individuals across the globe. Dreams, visions, heightened sensitivities, moments of profound, unexplainable intuition. It was a collection of data points from thousands, perhaps millions, of ordinary lives, all exhibiting a peculiar resonance, a subtle deviation from the statistical norm. These weren't agents. They weren't terrorists. They weren't even threats in the conventional sense. They were aware of something beyond the veil of ordinary perception, a hidden layer of reality that most people never glimpse. And Area 51 wasn't just aware of them, they were actively tracking them. But that, my friends, wasn't the strangest part. The strangest part was why. We always assumed Area 51 was about physical containment, about keeping secrets in, about locking away alien technology and beings. But this file, this single anomalous entry, revealed a different, far more chilling truth. It's about observation, about identifying and tracking individuals who possess a unique, almost innate connection to something else. A sensitivity to frequencies, to energies, to truths that the general population is deliberately shielded from. It's not about what you do, your actions, your allegiances. It's about what you are, or more accurately, what you could become. They weren't just watching, they were profiling, building a vast, intricate database of human potential, or perhaps human vulnerability. A registry of souls who might one day see too much, hear too much, know too much. This wasn't surveillance. It was a preemptive strike against awakening. I saw something I shouldn't have. The system, usually a fortress of encrypted data, had a momentary weakness. Deep within its digital core, I managed to bypass yet another layer of encryption, a hidden subdirectory that shouldn't have existed. What I found, there was a single, stark entry. It was unlike anything else. No name, no social security number, no history of employment or criminal record, just a unique, alphanumeric identifier. And then, two chilling lines that burned themselves into my memory. Level active. And in the status field, a single, terrifying phrase that made my blood run cold. Already perceived. It hit me like a physical blow, a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a record. It was a live feed, a real-time assessment. And the subject of this file, whoever they were, had already seen too much. They had perceived the truth. And that meant they were now marked. marked for what I didn't yet know, but the implications were horrifying. Already perceived, this wasn't an isolated incident, a single anomaly. This implied a network, a growing, interconnected web of individuals who, through some unknown mechanism, were waking up to the true nature of reality, to the hidden influences that shape our world, to the things that lurk just beyond our sight, whispering at the edges of our consciousness. Area 51 wasn't just tracking anomalies. They were tracking an awakening, a collective shift in human perception. And the question wasn't if these individuals would fully discover the truth, but when, and what would happen once they did. This was far more terrifying than any alien invasion scenario, because it suggested an enemy already within, an enemy that could manipulate our very minds. Why keep such a file? Why invest so much in tracking these aware individuals? Not for protection, not for study in the traditional scientific sense. It was for control, absolute, pervasive control, to understand the triggers, the patterns, the thresholds of this awakening, to predict and perhaps to manipulate, to ensure that when these individuals reached a certain level of perception, a critical mass of awareness, they could be managed, silenced, discredited, or worse, redirected. Their unique abilities, their heightened awareness, their capacity to see beyond the veil, could be a profound threat to the carefully constructed reality we all inhabit. Or perhaps a powerful tool for those who pull the strings from the shadows, a weapon to be wielded against an unsuspecting populace. The file was a weapon, and we, the aware, were the ammunition. I kept digging, driven by a cold, consuming dread that gnawed at my sanity. The more I saw, the more I understood the horrifying scope of their operation. The microhooks, the subtle nudges, the manufactured distractions, they were all part of a larger, more sinister design. The file wasn't just a record, it was a blueprint, a detailed, evolving blueprint for managing human consciousness itself. And the worst part, the part that still haunts my nightmares, was that status field. Already perceived, it meant the subject was no longer just an observation. They were a variable, a potential disruptor, a glitch in the matrix, and the system, this vast, unseen apparatus, was designed to neutralize variables. Not with brute force, not with bullets or bombs, but with a far more insidious weapon: doubt, making them question their own sanity, their own perceptions, their own memories, making them believe they were crazy, that what they saw wasn't real, making them silence themselves, making them forget. This isn't just about some anonymous file in a top-secret base. It's about the echo in your mind, that fleeting thought that doesn't feel like your own, a sudden insight that seems to come from nowhere, a strange familiarity with a place you've never been, that dream that lingers, too vivid, too symbolic to be dismissed as mere subconscious noise, hinting at truths you can't quite grasp, that persistent sense of unease when you look at the night sky, or when you scroll through the endless stream of news, feeling a profound disconnect, a hidden agenda, a puppet master pulling strings. They are listening, they are watching, they are waiting, and if you've ever felt that subtle pull, that whisper of a truth just out of reach, that nagging feeling that there's more to reality than meets the eye, then you are already on their radar. You are part of the file. And the moment you truly perceive it, the moment you connect the dots, the moment you realize the extent of the deception, that's when your status changes. That's when you become active. That's when you become a threat. And that's when they come for you, not with a knock on the door, but with a whisper in your mind. Have you ever had a thought that didn't feel like your own? They know you know, and now, so do you. It's already begun.